Oh, scores of people have been killed in two separate bomb attacks in Pakistan near the border with Afghanistan. At least 5 died in a blast near Peshawar, just west of Islamabad, after an early explosion in the country's southwest killed at least 50. Oh, that bomb went off in Balochistan province as crowds gathered for a procession to mark the birthday of the Prophet Muhammad. Health officials say the death toll could still rise, with many people in serious condition. Authorities earlier reported more than 50 had been injured. A police officer says they are still looking into whether this bombing was a suicide attack. The Interior Ministry earlier said the explosion was carried out by, quote, terrorist elements. Its minister denounced the bombing, describing it as, quote, a heinous act to target people during the procession. Pakistani President Arif Alvi has condemned this attack and requested all possible assistance to be provided to the wounded and victims' families.
मैं थोड़ा नज़दीक था, वैसे किसी ट्रेन धमाका हुआ, बस हमको पता नहीं लगेगा किस जगह से होता है, किस वजह से होता है, बस इसी वजह से बस हम परेशान था। हमारा दिमाग में चक्कर आता है, बस इधर-उधर करता है, लाश बहुत पड़ेगा और लाश तकरीबन 2 घंटे इधर पड़ा था, वो कोई सहूलत नहीं आएगा, वो सारे हवा में गाड़ी वाड़ी खुद उसको बेच लिया, वो लाश को उठा लिया है।
Now, no group has claimed responsibility. The outlawed group, that's the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, has condemned both attacks and called the loss of lives tragic. The blasts come days after authorities had asked police to stay on maximum alert as militants could target rallies. The country's west has seen a surge in attacks by militant groups, raising the stakes for security forces ahead of next year's elections. Earlier I spoke to Farhan Bukhari, who shares with us what could be behind these attacks.
It's hard to tell right now with anything conclusive. These attacks took place just a few hours ago, but these are areas which are along the Afghan border. They border Afghanistan. And in recent months, other attacks that have taken place here have been connected to militants in Afghanistan. What I have been told by senior people in the security community is that the attacks appear to be linked to or have been carried out by Daesh or the notorious Islamic State. But no one has claimed responsibility so far. And as far as clues are concerned, definite clues are concerned, well, the authorities are still looking for more evidence.
All right, given that we have already noted, and authorities also warning there will be more of attacks such as these from militant groups, particularly in the lead up to elections early next year, are they doing anything to stop, ward off these attacks?
That's a very, very difficult problem or challenge to undertake, because this is the classic type of guerrilla action we've seen elsewhere in other parts of South Asia, in other parts of the world as well, indeed. When you have groups that whose members mingle into the local population, and they also have the intention to carry out tough, big attacks, then it's very, very difficult to confront such groups. Of course, the authorities are, or they claim that they're doing everything possible. But at the end of the day, there are big gaps. These gaps are not easy to trace, because fundamentally, the people behind these attacks are not either regular card-carrying individuals of one sort or another, and indeed, these are not people in uniform. They are people who look like anyone from the Pakistani population, and they mesh into the population and at the same time prepare for the next attack as well. So this is a very difficult challenge.
A final question, Mr. Bukhari. Well, today's attacks, perhaps they're coincidental, perhaps they're not, taking place on a religious festival. One report say in a religious procession, the other during Friday prayers. Given that authorities might have expected this to happen, might they not have tightened security around these particular events?
That's a very good question. Of course, security today is tight, but the problem is that there are scores of processions and there are literally thousands of mosques everywhere, all across Pakistan. So it's very hard to come up with a security plan which is 100% foolproof. It's very hard to do that. And we have seen this in the past as well, that in spite of a very high security alert, attacks have taken place. So unfortunately, this is another one of those days.